So Poshmark is a great platform for selling online, selling your clothing. They actually have a home decor section now, and there are no upfront fees. And it's just a really great platform to get started on if you want to clean out your closet or start a little side hustle. So if you want to start making money with Poshmark, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right now. What's up, guys? My name is Eileen. Welcome to my channel. I am a mom, an entrepreneur, a wife, and a reseller. My main business right now is reselling. And I actually started reselling more recently. I've actually been doing it for like 10 years, but I started reselling more recently in 2016 as a way to kind of help my family get some extra money. And I put away $10,000 into our emergency savings account my first year reselling. So I like to teach people how they can do the same. Or maybe you don't want to put it into your emergency savings account, but you want to take a trip or just cover groceries. So if I can do it as a stay-at-home mom to a 1.5-year-old, then you can do it too. So if you like videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I post every single week about entrepreneurship, reselling, being a work-at-home mom, everything like that. So hit that subscribe button down below and let's get started. So before we get started, what is Poshmark? Poshmark is an app. It actually started as a fashion reselling app or fashion selling app. You can sell either through the app or the website, but now you can actually sell a couple of other things. They used to just be women's fashion. Now there's men's, kids. They recently released home decor, and as of today, the time I'm filming this, they released a school supplies category. So there's a lot of different things you can sell on Poshmark now, but it really is mainly a fashion selling app. So what sells well on Poshmark, in my opinion, and you'll probably hear this from a lot of other people, is stuff that's really on trend, in fashion, current, and also designer items. So those are the things that are going to sell the best. You can sell other items too. I sell plenty of items that aren't exactly within the last year or two as far as trends go, but if you want to sell things quickly and for a lot of money, designer and on trend is where you want to focus on. So there are just a couple of main steps in selling on Poshmark. It's really pretty simple. Basically, you want to gather whatever you're going to be selling. So whether that means going through your own closet or going through a thrift store and picking stuff up, or a discount store and picking stuff up. So your steps are going to be take photos, take really good photos, list the item on Poshmark, do a lot of sharing, and then once that item is sold, you're going to ship it. So there's really just 4 main steps. So one of the things you want to do when you're about to sell on Poshmark, whether you're going through your own closet or you're going to be buying things for Poshmark, is you want to see what is selling on Poshmark. And the way that I like to do this is I like to go into the app. I like to either click a category or a brand, and then I like to filter it by what has sold and then filter it by just in. I'll kind of show you that on the screen while I'm talking. And then you can see what has sold pretty quickly within that category or within that brand, or you can even search within a brand and a category if you want to get it really specific. So if you're looking up something from your closet, you can search for specific items exactly like that, so that you can see what they're selling for and how quickly they're selling. So how do you know how to price your items? So you can basically do the same thing I just talked about in looking up what's selling, except for you will pay a lot more attention to the price so that you can kind of see what items are selling for. So you can look up the brand of the item, the type of item. If you have the style name of the item, you can search for that. And then you can kind of look and see what that's selling for right now and make sure you price accordingly. All right, next I'm just going to show you really quickly how to list an item start to finish in the apps to show you how easy it is.
First, you're going to hit that sell button and you're going to go into your pictures and select the photos that you want to use. And I'm going to crop this a little bit because it wasn't framed in properly. And then you'll hit next and select the cover shot and don't add any filters. And then you're going to type in a title, and I always do the brand, a little bit of information on it. So like the style, color, and then the size if there's room. So you'll see I'm putting in Well Rocks. Sedona is the style name. They are black leather orthotic sandals, which I don't know how to spell apparently, and they are size 9. And then in the description, I usually just put the size and the condition, and then I will add a couple of keywords and by just saying the different features. And that way, if people are searching for these terms, they will still come up in Poshmark, even if they're not in the title. So I put toe separators because they have little separators for your toes. These are really comfortable sandals, by the way. If you're looking for comfort sandals, I love them, but they didn't fit me, so I'm selling them. I put wedge, buckle, comfort, orthopedic, So anything that people might be searching for to look for these sandals. And then you're just going to click through the little specifications and like the category, the size, the brand, and you're just going to select all the options, and that's pretty much it. There was not a Well Rocks, the brand. It did not exist in Poshmark, so you can always just add it if it doesn't exist. And then the color, and then you put an estimate of the original price. Some people just put 0 because they don't know, and then your listing price, and it'll show you what it'll sell for. And then you're done. And then if you have time, it's always good to go into your closet and look at it and then click on it and just make sure everything looks okay. The pictures could be a little bit better. I could probably edit those, but just everything looks good to go.
All right, now that you've seen how to list on your phone, you can do this on the computer as well. I'm going to go over some tips for selling on Poshmark. All right, my first tip is keywords and SEO. So keywords are words that people are searching for. SEO is called search engine optimization, and it's the way that search engines find your item or your website or whatever. And these two things are really important for getting your items found because people are going to be searching for specific items. So when you're creating a title and a description in Poshmark, make sure you use as many keywords as you can that are relevant. So in the title, I always recommend using the brand. If you have the style name, include the style name in case anybody's searching for that exact style. Include the color, include the style of the item. So if it's like an A-line dress or something like that, and then include the size. So those are the 5 things I recommend putting in the title if you can. If you can't fit it on there, you can throw that into the description. But if you can get those 5 things into the title, that is the best because people will easily find that item. And then in your description, you can use other keywords if there are different styles or different variations of the color so instead of blue, there's navy, royal, cobalt, stuff like that. So you can put in the description a lot more keywords that people might be searching for on Poshmark when they're looking for that item. Another tip I have is to answer questions. A lot of times people will ask a question and then no one will ever respond. And the people that are asking questions are people that are interacting with you because they are interested in that item. So while a lot of people might not respond because it's a lot of work to go and get that item and figure out the answer to that question, I really urge you to answer questions within 24 hours or so, preferably faster, so that you can get that answer to that person. I have sold so many items right after answering a question because I answered their question, the answer worked for them, and they bought the item. Another tip I have is to share daily. A really, really big part of Poshmark is sharing your closet. It's really important to bump your item up. If you look at the filter on Poshmark, it usually automatically filters everything by just shared. So those are the items that people are sharing. So if you share once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, that is ideal. I prefer to share 2 to 3 times a day, but once a day I think is really the minimum that you should be sharing on Poshmark. Another tip is to relist often. Sharing is great, but a lot of people also filter their searches by just in, which means these are items that are freshly listed, not just shared recently. So if you have an item that has been sitting for 3 or 4 weeks and someone searches by just in, your item might not even show up to them as they're scrolling through the first 20 or so. So I like to try to relist a couple of things every single day. I don't like things sitting more than a couple of months. Preferably less than a month before I relist. So if you don't have a lot of items or you have a lot of time to do that, try and relist a couple of things every day so that those items are fresh listings. And when people search by just the just in category, the just in filter, they'll see that item at the top. You also need to make sure you use lots of photos. There is nothing that's more deterring to a buyer than seeing an item they want, clicking the picture, and there's just one photo of the item. There's no picture of the back, there's no picture of the tags, there's no close-up detail pictures, nothing. So I always say that they give you 8 spots for pictures, and if you can, try and use all of them. Some ideas for using all of those spots are front of the item, back of the item, brand tag, size tag. Sometimes those are together, so that might be one picture. A close-up of the fabric, close-up of any of the details, close-up of the fabric tag, and the care tag. So that is a lot of pictures that you can include. It really doesn't take that much more time to take those pictures if you're already doing the photos, but it really helps your buyer be confident in buying that item because they can see the entire item and all of the details, so they won't hesitate to buy that item. You also want to make sure that your photos are really clear and bright so that you can see each part of the item really well. So If you can get near a window, turn on some lights, do something so that your photos aren't dark. There's nothing worse. No one's even gonna click on a picture if it's just a really dark picture. You can't really see the item, you can't see what it looks like. It's just not very appealing, and no one's even gonna really click on that item, to be honest with you. So at least have one really, really good bright picture. You can, even if you don't have great lighting, you can use apps on your phone to edit the pictures. I use Snapseed. I think it's a Google app, so it should be available on iPhones and Android phones, I believe. But that's a really great app to kind of brighten pictures up. You can actually even just do it in your iPhone, in the iPhone editing settings. I've done that before as well. So there are really a lot of apps out there that can help you brighten your photo. And I usually at least just edit that first photo and just make it really bright and really inviting so that it gets people to click on that listing. And once they're in there, there's a better chance of them buying it, so they don't just scroll right by. One amazing thing about Poshmark is that everything is sent priority mail, USPS priority mail, and that means you can use free shipping supplies. You can go ahead and buy cute supplies if you want to, but if you're in this to make money, then please use the free USPS supplies. There are so many different boxes and envelopes that you can use from USPS. I have 3 favorites. The Tyvek envelope is great for just if you need just an envelope for something. And then there are 2 boxes that I like. One is kind of a cube box that I use for larger pieces of clothing. And then there's a longer shoe box that I like to use for shoes. I will link down below where you can get that free supplies. And then I have 2 really important tips. They're not really so much tips as just encouragement for you. The first one is don't let the lack of a big number of followers scare you. So if you only have a couple hundred followers and you see people with 200, 300, 400,000 followers on Poshmark, don't even worry about that because it doesn't matter. I mean, their items might get more views just from people who have logged in and are scrolling through their feed, but most people go in and immediately search. So if you're listing often and sharing often, your items are going to show up regardless of how many followers you have. So don't let that intimidate you. Don't think that you can't be successful because you don't have a lot of followers. It's really about having quality items and making sure that those items get seen in the search by listing and sharing. One more tip is to make sure you source really well. If you're selling items from your closet, it might not matter as much because you're not spending money just to sell it, but make sure you're getting a good profit on items. Make sure you research what items are selling for. Make sure they're items that might sell pretty quickly. You don't want items sitting forever, and you don't want items that might only sell for like $10 because they do take fees out of that, and you're putting your hard work into listing, sourcing, shipping, and all of the work that goes into it. So really just make sure you're sourcing good items so that it's worth your time. And my last just piece of encouragement for you is to just get started. I'm the type of person that wants to do all the research, and I will spend days doing research, but you really need to just jump in. Grab 10 things from your closet, look them up on Poshmark, see if any of them are worth selling, and just do it. Just the best way to learn is to experience it, to do it yourself, to try it out. Don't be scared. Poshmark's super easy. It's really hard to mess up as long as you're accurately describing things and you ship things out on time, you're good to go. So I encourage you to just get started. Just do it. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Hopefully this inspires you to get started on Poshmark and make some money on the side. Whether you're just cleaning out your closet to declutter or you want to make some extra money as a regular side hustle, Poshmark is great for either one. So if you learned anything new or if you have any tips for anyone else, please comment down below. I would love to hear them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps others find the video. And don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber. I post videos every single week about entrepreneurship, reselling, being a work-at-home mom, making money from home, all that kind of fun stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.